Hi, I'm Melanie Woolwine. I'm one of the visual art teachers at Patriot High School. I will not be here for back to school night, so I wanted to create a video for the adults and parents of the home that have a student in one of my classes. So, first thing you need to know for your art student is that they have a running to-do or running list of daily activities that's listed on the homepage. Everything we do in class is on our Canvas homepage. So if you're in Art 1, you go to the Art 1 Canvas homepage, it tells you every single day what we're doing. So the good thing about that is if you're out, you're absent for extended period of time, for whatever circumstance, that you can check the homepage and know what you missed. Also on the homepage, I link all the assignments, any videos, presentation slides, anything is on the homepage, so you don't have to look through modules and assignments and all those things. Look through the homepage to see what days that you missed. I do have Art 1 is a pretty big class. I have 3 different classes and they're on odd days and even days. So if you are in an Art 1 class, then you would have to check and make sure you're paying attention to the specific day. That's the only thing. Computer art, AP, and portfolio, I only have during those days. It's just that one class I have in the Canvas class. So just check that one and you'll be on point for those. Art 1, make sure you're on the correct day. But we still do the same things. So then the next thing is scoring. Scoring of assignments is a 1, 2, 3, 4 scoring. So if your student ever gets a 0 in the grade book, that just means that nothing was submitted. They didn't submit anything to me, so then they earned nothing in return. A 0 is a 0. I don't put NHIs in the grade book. They're in high school. They need to know that if they don't turn anything in, it's a 0. The scoring goes based on my rubric, which is a 3 I can statement rubric for each standard that I have listed. So for example, one of the standards for fine arts is the student can create an original work of art using the elements of art and principles of design. That's a huge, big, open umbrella for whatever assignment. So I usually use that one. And then I usually say, I can do this, and I can do this within that one standard based on the specific project we're doing. Now, for projects, you might have 4 summative scores for a project, and I only give summative scores. I'll talk about formatives in a second, but say we have 4 summative scores for an assignment. So that's 4 chances to get 0s or 4 chances to get 4s. Now, within one score of the assignment, it's based on 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of those standards will have 3 I can statements. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. If you can do all 3 and you meet the 3, you get a 90. If you exceed the 3, you get a 100. That's mastery, and you'll see on the rubric what incorporates mastery. What do you have to do to get mastery? Then 1 and 2 is I can do one thing. I did something. That's a 60. Number 2 is I can do 2 things, 2 out of those 3 things, I get a 75. So it goes 0, you didn't hand in anything, you did something, that's 1, is a 60. 2, I can do 2 things under that standard. 75, I can meet the standard, which is a 90, because doing what I'm asking you to do doesn't grant you 100. Exceeding what I'm asking you to do gives you that 100. The one big thing in all of my classes is studio habits. This is how your students are doing in class daily. So if they're setting out their supplies, if they're cleaning up correctly, if they are not on their phones and not being distracted, if they're working the entire time in class. That is what the studio habits score is based on. And if you want to know how your student's doing in class, if they're paying attention, doing what they need to do, check studio habits. If it's a 2, they're probably not meeting expectations. If it's a 1, they are definitely not meeting expectations. If it's a 0, they're not doing anything in class and they're having behavioral issues, probably, more than likely. If it's a 4, they're doing awesome. Every day they come in, they help clean up the class, they do what they need to do for their personal. So that's a really good score if they get a 4 for studio habits. That means that they're really working hard. So also another thing to check is parent view. I might put different messages in for each student. I know I'm having a few issues with phones being out. I don't allow students or anyone in Patriot, the phones are not allowed out in class during instructional time. We have a lot of other technology that helps them, that they can use for visual references or what have you if we're doing something digitally. So check comments in parent view. That'll tell you what they're doing with studio habits. If they're not cleaning up, or if they're on their phone, or they're not working the entire time, which is usually the 3 that I have the most troubles with for that. The other thing is, I stated that they don't have any formative assignments. They have formative assignments, I just don't put them in the grade book. The formative assignments they have are little activities that lead up to the project, and those are going to go towards their pacing score. A pacing score is something that cannot be retaken either because it's timely. If I'm asking a student to give me drafts, research, and visual references from the internet, then that's 3 things that they can do for planning, and that's their pacing score for their projects. So they can't hand in a project and then go, wait, let me draft something for you for that project I already handed in. You can't do that in art. You have to start with those things. So the pacing score are formatives that are added up to equal that 1 pacing score. So that's another thing that you can check to see how well your student is doing with the rigor in the class is studio habits and pacing score. If those 2 are low, then you can guarantee the rest of their projects are going to be low too, just because they're not doing anything in class. That's why. They're not prepared. They didn't do their planning for the project. They are just sitting there like, I don't know. I didn't do those things. So that's why their ultimate end grade would be low, is because of the studio habits and pacing scores. So now I'm going to talk about supplies for each of the different classes. Okay, so change of scenery. With portfolio and AP's supply fee, I had told the students that it would be $30. Because we're doing a printmaking unit, I'm going to make, the fee is going to be $50. The only reason being is that they're going to make their own printing press. They're going to make printmaking plates, different things, so they can take it with them. So it's a really good opportunity for them for that. The base price for sketchbook, printing fees, paper, and other supplies used during flex and class time is $30, but then the additional printmaking unit is the $20. They also get other things added to that. $20 is charcoal, ink pens, and some other things that I have for the supplies for them as a class that they're going to use a lot. I just added it to the supply fee, the base supply fee, because that way I wouldn't have to ask for additional money later. So $50 is the set supply fee, but then there's a list of supplies that I'm asking all portfolio and AP students have. Basically, if your student is going to college or take any art classes, even beginner art classes, this would help, or just maybe a year or something of art at the next level, this would be 90% of their supplies that they would need. So I've actually been told by former students, they were like, thank you, Miss Woolwine, for having me get all these supplies, because now I don't have to buy them and I'm in college and I need money. So if you spend it now, they won't have to spend it later. So this is a list based on my experience through college, being a studio major. I did not major in art education. I majored in being a drawing artist. So This is the list that I came up with. If students have these supplies, they don't have to pay for them. So that would be over the $50. If they already have them, if they've accumulated them throughout their years at Patriot, you don't need them. That's why I work with Miss Wilson and Miss Reed to see what they have or what they're getting for, especially Miss Wilson, Art 2 and Art 3, to get those supplies. So you don't have to have a big lump sum of like $100 by the time you get to AP and portfolio. So that's the big thing. The next big thing is the art gala. Yes, Prince William County is going to have an in-person art show this year. They are going to split it up, I believe, between East and West counties, like county lines. And it's going to be the last 2 weekends of April. But last year, I started an art gala just for my portfolio and AP students because they didn't have an in-person show last year. So I feel that it went over with a great success. All of the AP students prepare an artist talk and they present it to the public. This year is going to be a little bit more in depth. I might call I'll probably will be calling newspapers and getting more of the community involved. So that date is April 15th. That is set in stone. It will be at the Contemporary Music Center in Haymarket. April 15th is the day that the show will open to the public. I'm hoping that Menzie, who's the owner, will allow me to set up the night before. It's super fun. Like the students all have a great time. They're like, that was like the best. Like we set up the night before. I get them pizza. We hang out. We talk. We hang up artwork. It's kind of hectic, but it's super cool to see like the end result, and the students put up the whole show. So April 15th, mark that on your calendars because that is mandatory for everyone. I just want to let everyone know right now. And then there will be a Prince William County Art Show those following 2 weekends. You don't need to attend. Your student will have the same display up. There are giving ribbons for AP. They're judged. You can come to see that, but students won't have to be there. The mandatory thing is the art gala. Okay, so supplies, the art gala. Students also have to submit to exhibitions and contests throughout the year. Portfolio students have to do 2. AP students have to do 3. Also, they will be taking their work home. So make sure that they have a space at home that is free from younger siblings that could mess up their work, or pets, or the kitchen table is not ideal. They need a space to work. If you don't have a space to work, you can get them a drawing board. That really helps because for me during college, I was a portable artist, and having a big drawing board really helped me. That's not part of my supplies because I have them in class. So they would need to get something like that on their own. But that definitely helps if you're a portable artist, like trying to drag your work from one place to the next. We made portfolios in class today, so that's another reason why they can move their artwork back and forth. They're going to bring them home. They're going to bring them back to school. The benefit of having them in first block is that they can go back out to their car if they need to make 2 trips. So that's also a plus for this. If you have any questions about anything, please email me at WOOLWIME, my first name is Melanie, at pwcs.edu. And I am super excited for my AP and portfolio year.